Hey guys, this is Orlando Filmatic, and I hope you're doing well. Today I want to talk about a project that I was asked to DP. Whenever I get a call from this agency, normally I'm pretty excited because it usually comes with really good budgets. And whenever you have a really good budget for a bigger ad campaign or a project like the one that we're talking about, this commercial, you get to really dive deep into it. You get to go everything from like helping pick colors of backgrounds, talking about what kind of light fixtures are going to be where. You're working with lighting plot designs and all kinds of stuff. So and they're paying you for it. You know, you're putting in the time for the pre-production. So a project like this, normally I'll be on it for at least 10 days to 12 days, including pre-production, even if we're going to be producing it or on set for only around 2 to 3 days. With that said, there's a couple cool factors about this project, and I'm going to just highlight a couple of these things. One of them, let's go over the camera of choice for this project. As previously mentioned in my other videos, I went to go do a couple lens tests and camera tests in Austin. And during those tests, I was able to check out lenses like the Signature Primes, the Supreme Primes, Blackwing lenses, Lomo anamorphics. If you haven't seen those videos yet, I have plenty of comparisons all through the channel. If you like that kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe, because anytime that I can use a production like this to test out cool equipment, believe me, I'm going to make a YouTube video out of it. We ended up choosing the Signature Primes, a really beautiful set of Signature Primes. I always want to thank my homies out in Austin, Dino. He killed it. I mean, made sure we had everything we needed. He also hooked us up with a really nice O'Connor and a bunch of other gear that we needed for this project. So the reason why we needed more gear was that we actually needed to get 4 Alexa Mini LFs. Now, during that time, I was testing between the Sony Venice, because I have a good friend here in Houston who has several of them, and then also that or Alexa Mini LFs. We ended up choosing Alexa Mini LFs, not because of image quality, not because of any of that, even though I am more used to the Alexa platform or the ARRI platform. We chose it because of the data. We're not shooting RAW, and if you want to use the full output of a Venice 6K version 1, you have to actually shoot in RAW, even if it is a compressed RAW. And that would have just killed us on dailies and data and all that stuff. So we chose the Alexa Mini LF. I'm very used to doing multicam setups, especially with this agency. I feel like every time we're doing this production, we have so many assets that we have to create that it's almost easier just to have more cameras, just so that we're making sure that we're locking in side angles, left angle, all kinds of stuff. Because it's like a mix of what you would think is kind of broadcast, but it's still more commercial. And instead of having to reset up an angle or change just to get a specific line, when they're cutting they can literally stay on any angle that they want, or they can cut between any of them, and they should flow very, very, very fine. So multicam setups is something that I'm used to. I think every single project that I've worked on, for the most part, I use at least 2 cameras. Sometimes I go 1 camera, and that's because we got very, very specific shot list, and we know that we can turn it around pretty quickly. But if not, I always try to add that second angle just to give editor a little bit more choice in the edit. The other thing about this project was that we had 4 talent that were going to be with us across 2 days. The only caveat is that each talent, we only have 2 hours with them. Not only do we only have 2 hours with them, but we also have to do 3 different setups for each talent within those 2 hours. This is where I devised a plan to make sure that every single one of the cameras, we had somewhat like a master shot. We then had a close-up kind of 3/4, a dolly that went from 3/4 to profile, and then I had a close-up shot that's right next to the master shot. And this allowed us to be able to, not have to punch in, not have to move up. At any moment, the editor can choose that motion shot just to give it a little bit of dynamics, right? Then the 4th camera was a Steadicam, and the Steadicam was always just ready to rock and roll. So as soon as we cut, he jumps in and he gets all the little B-roll, the little accents, and all the other stuff that we need. And the other way that I attacked this was that I only got 1 set of the Signature Primes, and that allowed me to pretty much lock in a focal length per camera, and that also made sure that A, B, C, and D all were just set, and they didn't have to be swapping out lenses at any moment. As mentioned, we had 2 hours per talent, 3 different setups per, and all had to happen quick. We had a hard out with everybody, right at those 2 hours. So the solution for this was to go ahead and lock a focal length per camera. Make sure that A, B, C, and D all stayed with their focal lengths using only one set of signature primes. And then we also started to spike or tape where all our setups would be. So there's a task that I gave to the camera team. We had a little powwow. I explained to them that as soon as we're done with one setup, we have 5 minutes to reset for the next setup. And that pretty much meant that we had spiked color all over the floor where it wasn't visible, just so they can move everything, including the dolly, the Fisher dolly, big old boy, right? So it was one of those things where we became very efficient on the prep day. By the time we were done, we ran through every single setup, got approval from client. They were at the camera, could see all the different lengths, different setups, and then on the actual day of the filming, when the client came in, they actually were just floored how quickly we were moving, and it just seemed like we'd been doing it for days. Not only did they have to do that, our lighting team also had to spike tape everywhere and pretty much set up their lighting based on that. So let's get into that portion of what we did on this commercial. So whenever you have a unique commercial like this where you're building the set and you have a big enough space, fortunately we're at the Story Hive. At the Story Hive is 10,000 square foot of space. Really awesome friends of mine. They always take care of us whenever we do a production like this there. And this one was a really good one where we were able to bring in a lift system where we can lock truss and then we can lift over. They don't have a lighting grid there, but we already have done this many times in Houston. Most of the studios in Houston don't have these massive truss systems, or if they do have a truss system, they're just a smaller stage. And that's just the reality of being in Houston. With that said, we got this truss system. We're able to put a 1200 and then also make a little box for it where we're able to get this nice ambient fill across the whole floor, across the whole area. So that's kind of the way I look at most of these sets, is that we build something that gives us nice ambient environmental kind of lift, and make sure that we're at a proper exposure once we get to wherever the person's going to be at. That usually helps us have that proper exposure no matter where we're at on the set. And this was a pretty big set, but it worked out very, very well for us, and we're able to knock that out. So with the 3 different setups per interviewee, the lighting team knew that they had to set up all those different lights and fixtures in different places at different times. So it worked out very, very well. And I'm very appreciative of Greg Goodhue, Jeff, Jeremy, the whole team. They knocked it out of the park as well with the lighting side, the G&E and the grip. I mean, they just killed it. They made sure it looked great. It was super safe, secure, and they did a great job. And overall, this project was awesome because I got to use fun toys. We got to make something out of nothing, literally, and the budget was actually very, very good. I'm always thankful that this agency always reaches out, because they know that we can just knock it out. And that's the one thing that I would ask you. If you're an agency or if you're a production company looking to do productions in Houston, hit me up, because I might be able to consult and might be able to save you some money, but also I have the crew to be able to knock out something at this magnitude, and also be able to create more things and make it super easy for your client or your agency. The other cool thing about it was being able to see the clients, the agency, everyone come out, even the crew come in, everyone be happy, and just be able to create something. And most important of all, be able to get a good paycheck. Get a good paycheck during this time where a lot of people just don't have work. It's one of those things that, it's awesome to be able to pull up to a studio, walk out, walk away, and you just are spending several days there. And I think that's one thing that we are kind of missing in Houston, but one day I think that might happen. I think there will be someone that puts money back into Houston infrastructure, and into the crew to build it up. With that said, if you like this kind of content, subscribe, follow. We finally hit over 2,400 subs, and that's pretty amazing to me. I mean, even getting every time I go to my YouTube studio and I see another person now, I'm like, yo, you know, we get super excited because it's this year I decided that we're gonna go ham on YouTube. We're gonna drop a video, and sometimes I get excited and I drop 2 videos in a week. But we have been dropping a video at least once a week, and that's and that is my commitment to you guys this year. So if you're along for the ride and you want to follow us and help us get to 2,500 subs, that's our next goal. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and all that cool stuff. With that said, if you also have any questions, hit me up. People have already taken advantage of this. They ask me questions on my Instagram. This is Filmatic. You can hit me up there. I'll get back to you. People have asked me to post gear that they're trying to sell. You know, and I try to help out when I can if I'm not too busy. Luckily, this week is going to start getting busy, and next week I'm also a little busy. But once again, if I'm busy, that means that you're going to get some cool vlogs and some cool behind the scenes of production and things that I'm doing while I'm traveling. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys taking the time out to watch this video. And so if you're looking for more content like this, make sure to follow. All right, we'll be talking later. Peace.
Yeah.